What's up everyone, my name is Luke and welcome to my channel, where I share intriguing ideas and helpful thoughts about finance and productivity. I work in finance on the weekdays, and I hope my thoughts here on the weekend will provide good value to you. So at the time of making this video, inflation is currently at 8.3%, the Federal Reserve have been wrong or possibly lied about the pace of inflation, growth stocks have been crushed, and ARK ETF, a fund managed by Cathie Wood with many non-index stocks, is currently trading in the 40s. In this video, I want to help people who bought ARK in triple digits to forecast when ARK will recover. I also want to analyze the current state of ARK, discussing current macro environment, fundamental environment, and technical analysis. Although this is not financial advice because financial planning needs to be done at a personal level, I truly believe that what I'm about to share will help provide valuable analysis to you. Okay, so right off the bat, I think it would take ARK at least 5 to 8 years for the ETF to return to its all-time highs of $140 to $150 range. If you have bought ARK near the highs, I feel for you, and I hope that you do not put too much of your wealth into the fund. I'll be sure to share with you how I calculated that time horizon in this video. Going forward, ARK is a high-risk, high-return strategy that is not for everyone, and needs to be allocated properly according to your own investment profile. I honestly love Cathie Wood for the position that she has taken and her approach and research in disruptive technology, but there is no guarantee that she will succeed in the future. My thesis for why I bought ARK recently is because I firmly believe in the progression and inevitable change in the universe, humanity, and technology. The only guarantee we have is that the world will change and technology will be a crucial part of it. I don't have the time to always keep up with the changing profile of each company, so I allocated a portion of my portfolio to Cathie to the extent that I would not panic when the volatility comes around. If we can put the portfolio construction topic aside, I challenge you to ask yourself this: why did you buy ARK? Did you buy ARK because you saw on your stock app that the graph was going to the moon and that you'd be rocking a Lambo within a year or two by buying this ETF? Or did you buy it because part of you believed that the world will change faster and faster relative to the speed of information? With that said, how did I get to the 5 to 8 years recovery time for ARK? So first, what you want to do is take away the pandemic years of 2020 where ARK saw a gain of close to 400%. This is obviously an outlier because even in Cathie's own research and proposal, disruptive technology should only return an average annualized rate of 15%. If you think about it in normal terms and not the pandemic terms, that's actually double the return rate of the S&P 500. Now from 2014 to 2019, ARK actually hit close to these targets as proposed. In December of 2019, ARK's last traded price was $50. If we assume that Cathie's continues to hit a 15% compound annualized return rate over a 5-year period, which she was hitting, and that is one of the only assumptions with some concrete data, then we can see that she was supposed to hit $100 in 2025, $133 in 2027, and $152 in 2028. ARK ETF was never supposed to hit 150 in early of 2021. The meteoric rise and the companies of ARK Invest barely had anything to do with the fundamentals of those companies, but more to do with the macro factors such as work from home and Jerome Powell with a money printer. Through the whole time that Cathie's funds went to the moon, I think she knew that it has gone too far. After all, she's a hedge fund manager with decades of experience under her belt. When she came out over and over again stating that we are never going back to the old world, I think she was stuck in a bad place. It's true that the world was never going to be the same, but it is also true that not everything in her fund has gained 8 years of growth. I bought ARK on the way down at $75, thinking that it's probably fair to say that technology adoption has fast-forwarded about 3 years, but it looks like currently the market disagrees. I can't blame Cathie for not coming out and screaming that the Titanic is sinking though, because she owes her shareholders the responsibility to keep the share prices high, morally and legally. Okay, so let's talk about the macro picture of ARK Invest. I'm sorry guys, but it doesn't look good. I might be a fan of Cathie's research about technology adoption and how her research is shared publicly, but I have enough experience to also recognize the headwinds that her strategy is facing in the short to medium term. The 5 to 8 years forecast for recovery for ARK and Cathie was based upon her track record back in the 2010s. Back then, inflation rate was lower than 2% and political tensions were not this high, and the supply chain wasn't all messed up like now. I would not be surprised if it took longer for ARK to recover. The funny thing about how people see ARK ETF or any polarizing figures such as Cathie, Elon, or Donald Trump is that they are either 100% against everything that they do, or that nothing they do is right or good, or they are a god, and that everything they do is just amazing. If you are investing in ARK ETF because you believe in the long-term play of disruptive technology, then you got to remember that Cathie was the first few fund managers who believed in Bitcoin, the first few fund managers who made the right call on Tesla. But at the same time, we have to think for ourselves, and we have to use common sense to see that she was wrong about inflation, she was wrong about interest rates, and she was wrong about the supply chain recovery time. Or she knew, but she just didn't tell us or couldn't tell us. I also remember her telling us that the economy is extremely strong, but she's starting to drive her comment towards a recession now. Take it however you may. On the technical end, we can see that ARK is on a strong downtrend, breaking through every single resistance possible. We can clearly see the two bearish flags on the way down. If you are a day trader or a short-term holder of ARK, then we definitely don't want to be catching a falling knife here. But if you are a firm believer in Cathie's research, then you can see that the price has fallen well below the long-term growth trend since 2014. So in summary, I don't think ARK will hit its high again for another 5 to 8 years. At $40 though, I think it is a good entry point for the long run. I will probably be selling calls and nibble on ARK here and there to average down my costs. I think the biggest takeaway that young investors should take with them are: what goes to the moon in the short term usually has nothing to do with the fundamentals of the company, but more to do with other factors outside of it. What goes up must eventually come down, or as Jack Bogle says, reversion to the mean. The second takeaway is that you should never trust anyone completely in the investment realm. Just because they are right about one thing, which does not mean that they will always be right, and you can just trust them completely. Use the knowledge that you have gained, along with some common sense and lessons from past failures, and that will always serve you well in the future. All right, thank you so much for listening to my thoughts on ARK in 2022. Let me know what your outlook of ARK is in the short term, medium term, and long term in the comments below. If you want to know how I continue to build conviction in Bitcoin in the current tough environment, then you can click right here on the top right corner for the video. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. That would help out a lot to support me to continue to create these kind of content. I hope to see you here next time, and I wish you a blessed day.